pursue it anymore, and then they turn it over to those folks.
Right. Hello, Joe.
There's probably very little, I wouldn't mess with them.
Okay. I will let her know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Mr. Gerken,
Sir?
how we doing?
Good.
Hey, lady.
I'm leaving a note to self. I do a lot of those lately.
You mumbling or what? Were you talking to me?
I'm making a note to myself before I forget something.
It's a good place to do that.
I see I send emails
One
to
of those
myself.
things.
I send emails to myself
Dear self.
to remind myself to look at stuff. See? There. It's the swishing sound of it going. Mind if I stand with you?
I enjoy that a lot.
Thank you.
Man to man.
That's right. Well, just stand up here. Huh?
You're about my height
That's right.
from 20 years ago. I've shrunk 2 inches.
Yeah, that happens, you know. That's
It does.
I know.
I got 3 more inches to go. I hope.
yeah. My father was close to 6 feet at one point, and before he passed, he got a little shorter than I did, or whatever.
My brother was an inch taller than me, and he's down here somewhere.
Yeah.
He's 90.
I think it stops at some
I
point.
can look forward to 5 more shrinks.
So I was standing with him before the
You've been traveling a lot? All over the place.
Welcome
huh?
back.
I go to Greece on Monday.
Welcome
Go to
back.
Greece on Monday.
me.
Yes, you.
I just missed
My
one
son just
meeting.
got back from
Missed.
St. Croix, St.
Thank you, though.
something, St.
St.
something.
Thomas and John.
Yeah, the little boat, he said.
Yeah,
Not
okay.
Not the big one,
Yeah.
the little one.
The little ones?
He took a picture of the big one. It was next to him. We didn't get the picture.
All right.
So
How
first
you been?
started, it's like,
Yeah, no bad.
you gotta enjoy it while you
In and
got
out,
it, because
in and
if you
out.
don't get it, you don't know what you got.
That's right. When you get to that, when they're not measuring you up there anymore, it's
No,
yeah.
you don't have the body you used to have.
No, see what
You
you
wonder, you gotta wonder, what do you have, and how do you recognize other spirits?
Funny you should say that. I was
say, Debbie.
this morning. I was helping my
Hey.
daughter
See, here, let's.
assemble a dresser.
Let's see what you're saying.
I'll put it down here on the
Just
ground. And
curious.
we'll sit here
Oh, Mayor Kelly.
for a while. At some point, I had to
Really
get
just
up.
copied it.
Does that hurt?
I got up, but it was not pretty. I hope no one got a video or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's old school.
Yeah.
Feasting
The day
on
will
a
come.
vanilla. I gotta tell Sean. Sean, you know that it's called email.
Well,
to get up.
I thought of that. I
Email
was
is,
like looking for a chair or
good.
something.
If I don't have something
this is
beside
Pat
me, I can't
Kelly's.
get
No, flip the
It's ours.
page.
Flip the
Oh.
page.
I was like, really?
Yeah, apparently the Board of County Commission haven't heard of email.
Those are good.
neck,
So,
arms, legs,
Most of my appendix.
hips hurt.
Yeah.
Councilman
I
Hernandez.
know, but if you complain about it, it gets worse.
Yeah. There you go. So life is good. Back to
Life
the
is
Do we
start.
have a mayor?
And
He's not here.
Deborah, how are you
Joseph?
tonight?
Okay.
I had a long week. I'm
Oh,
dragging
Oh,
a
that's
little
right.
bit.
Ooh.
I heard. Yeah.
Was it
6:31.
just
the
long?
time is
The
6:31.
Sorry, I missed it.
That's a lie. I am not sorry. I missed it.
Did my nose grow there?
I'm sorry you had to go through such a long day.
6:30. Wow. The bewitching
That's
hour.
right. Hold on, stand. Is the mayor
Might
here?
might as well just keep on standing.
Yes, he's in the back with Mark. They're on their way.
I hope this meeting isn't long.
I will try to do nothing to make it longer.
I opened the door. I said, showtime.
Oh, in that back. I was looking at the back.
Is it green?
Be the sacristy from my old preacher's kids' days.
The sacristy. That's the room of the altar.
Yeah. Robe, minister. Michael. Yes, the last meeting.
Was this your father or son great adventures?
I don't know, why was I not here? I don't even remember. It was a very good reason. I can't remember what it was. Why was I not here the last one? It's been a light agenda. Road Stanley.
Call to order Minneola City Council. If all rise for a moment of silence. And Vice Mayor, if you'll lead us in the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review.
Looks good, thank you.
This is up to the council, but I think the majority of our residents are here for item number 15. Do we want to move that to the front?
We can. That's fine. You fine with that?
Yep.
Fine.
Okay. Anything? I would like to, if possible, unfortunately, I did not have time, and I talked to Scott about this. I gotta find it. Item 13, I'd like to table indefinitely right now till we can get a better understanding of it, if you don't mind. There's not really a pressing issue for it.
No, there's, as long as we have till December to act on that. If we could table it to a date certain, just so we don't have to
Okay.
re-advertise.
That's fine. We can just,
And push it out.
that's fine.
How about, Mark, is there any pressing thing? How about the second meeting in October,
For starters, yeah, that's fine.
which is, trying to pick a meeting I won't be here. No, I'm just kidding. Shoot. Will that be the 21st? Yes. How about October 21st?
Okay, we'll figure that out.
We'll need a motion to do so then.
Can I get a motion to move that to?
I make a motion to move item 13 to October 21st, 2025.
I'll second that.
First and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mark, is there any other changes? Okay. With that said, public comment. If there's anybody in the public that would like to speak on anything, please come forth at this time. If you'll state your name and address. Thank you.
Joe Famasi, 2693 Jumpy Jack Way. I come before you today and ask you to stand with Claremont and Groveland, stand against the county trying to become a charter. I think that individual cities should have a right to rule their own areas and to govern their areas and not use powers through the county charter to try to override you. Give you an example. So traffic is a big issue here. The county would use that as a way to dump the roads into your guys' laps, where you would have to come up with funding for them. So I'd like you to consider that you would end up with the responsibility of the roads, and the county, through the charter, could have that voted to put into your laps. I think that Minneola has done a good job taking care of their own city, and I think it should continue. And I'm asking you to stand with two other cities against the idea of the county charter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else in the audience would like to come up and speak on anything?
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. Cheryl Pavlaka, 1808 Cary Street, Minneola. I have two quick items since you took one off the agenda. I truly believe that the Live Local tax exemption opt-out for what was being shown, I'm in favor of that, because the less, and it goes along with the county constitution that he was talking about, we should be able to say what's happening in our own cities and not have the county and the state push it down our throats. So I hope you find that to be true and follow through on that. The item that I originally came to talk about is very quickly, I hope that we are really enforcing E-Verify for any contracts we do with the city, that all their workers are E-vetted, because right now we have 695 current non-citizens with a driver's license or ID in the state of Florida. So that means that they might try voting, which could skew our elections, and they also might try taking jobs away from legal American citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Sam Dortch, address 207 East Sumter Street. Never been here before, it's the first time.
Good evening.
Thank you. I was told that this was addressed last year. I was just curious about chickens, wanting chickens, not roosters, just chickens, because really there's no need for a rooster. As it stands right now, I'm pretty sure it's 5 acres per 6 chickens, which is a little absurd because I also have horses, and you can have 2 horses per acre, so they're much larger than a chicken. So I was just curious as to why chickens need so much property and horses do not. Yeah, that's it. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience want to speak?
I think we should bring it back, just so I can say more puns. That was a fun meeting.
That's fine. Project updates. You gonna take this one, Eric?
Yes. Give me 1 second.
Real quick, if it pleases the council, GFL's here as well, if y'all want to have any kind of update on the road cleaning.
You can start with them.
Yeah, let's start with them, Mark, while I bring this up. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, that was my fault.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and
Good
staff
evening.
and residents. Came tonight, I was asked to come to give you an update on where we are on the road cleaning project. It's been broken out into 3 phases. Phases 1 and 2 are nearly complete. Phase 3 will complete both subdivisions, the hills and the reserves of Minneola. I've got a list of streets I can send to you, Mark, that are taken care of. 11 in phase 1. There's 9 in phase 2. And then phase 3 will be Gold Summit, Crossbow, Thunderhead, Oxbow, and that's it. And cleaning up the rest of final ones on phase 1 and 2. Our vendor tonight from Superior couldn't be present. I'll bring him to the next meeting, or we can set up a meeting with you to kind of review the process or the progress. I think there's been quite a bit made, actually. I drove through some of the streets before I came in, and there's still some shadows and whatnot, but they've used the powder on top of the cleaning, and the sun's helping to bleach the streets back to where they were, and wanted to report that to you.
Thank you very much.
For the next meeting, can we get some before and after pictures, or just current pictures of what they currently look like?
Sure, we'd be glad to provide them.
Thank you.
Are you asking if you should provide?
No, he said they'll be glad to provide
You
them.
would provide.
You'll be, okay, great, thank you. Perfect.
Yeah, we ran into one at the end of the last meeting that I was at, where we had actually had leakage from a tailgate that had come open, and it was not oil, but it was leachate. And leachate was able to be cleaned up. I think it was very impressive that we got on it that night, which was the day it happened. And by the next day, we were able to present some pictures that looked pretty nice. I mean, but the leachate comes up way faster. I mean, it doesn't take as many treatments, and it doesn't get as deep into the asphalt. So I'll come to the next meeting, I'll bring Pete with me, and we'll give you some before and afters.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So Mark, just starting off, first we have the Minneola Library. Last update was that we have this September 2nd for soft opening. Is that still on target?
I don't believe so. I've always stated the end of September, because there's always, I know the contractors tend to try to give their best case scenario, but I don't think they're going to make the September 2nd deadline. They're still having some delays on the furniture. It's beyond our control. It's a furniture company that had a challenge, and they'd gotten behind schedule.
So, sorry to interrupt, just one quick item on that. So, I think I've asked this for other contracts. Is there any stipulation stating where there is a liability on their fault that we can go after a financial reward or there's a financial penalty on their end for us?
In some cases, we have liquidated damages written into our contract. I don't recall on this one, but it's not always as clear cut as it seems. And I can kind of go through in more detail with you how that works. And
So end of September, that's almost like a pie in the sky.
what's that?
That's like a pie in the sky. We don't think it's really going to happen end of September.
I believe if the furniture gets here, it'll be open by the end of September. And they got the paving, they got the parking lot paved this last week. They've got sprinkler alarm is in, and they're waiting final testing.
I'm going with no.
Yeah.
I have no expectations, looking at that level of that project, that it's going to be finished by September. If you walk
I agree.
through it, it's,
Yeah.
looks the same way it did 6 months ago. A couple screws get put in, a couple packs put in, but there is no movement on that project whatsoever, and there's really nobody out there it's the most pokiest project I've seen. Well, I would say that, but we had a fire department.
But it's going to be beautiful. That's the positive.
It's going to be beautiful. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not,
And it's
but-
paid for.
but let's,
Okay, so what can we do as a council to make that September or even October deadline? Because I agree with you. I frankly don't even see this by the end of the year, based on
yeah,
that schedule.
I do just tell Mark that, and he needs to push the contractors,
Yeah.
and the project manager needs to push the contractors.
Haven't we been doing that for the last 4 months since these
Yeah,
these meetings?
it's.
Yeah, I believe, I have to believe, barring something unforeseen, that everything should be done. The big question is the furnishings, and that's, those furnishings have already been ordered, and I still have hope that it'll get here in time.
Okay. We'll see.
Yeah. Fine. Okay. City Hall Fire Station, I think the last thing pending was just the doors, not the doors themselves, but the actual.
The hoods.
The hoods,
The
yes,
hoods,
thank you.
they should be here soon. I can't imagine more than a couple of weeks, but
I can speak, because they parked yesterday, and I was like, who are you? And they said they should be in the next 2 weeks and then get installed. So to Mark's point is, they had a group of people doing the pre-meeting, stepping through and making sure, so the door guys were out there yesterday. I didn't talk to them for long. They just said they should be in the next couple of weeks, and then it'll take a week to install them. And they should be the same color as the doors. And then I left.
Next I have the Grassy Lake Road striping, widening, and stop signs. I think this was, when we last discussed, it was gonna be for next school term, even though originally it was supposed to be for this school term.
yeah, so
Yes, these are
both
all sliding
education and Grassy Lake, they're being bid out as one project, with the understanding we may, depending on funding with the county for their roadway, we may only be able to do our section. But we had a pre-bid meeting. We had, I think, seven, you remember? Seven, I think we had six, or we had a good number of contractors that came. Don't quote me on seven, but we had a good number of them, and seemed like there was a lot of interest in it. And so the bids are out, so we should be receiving them soon. I don't remember what the deadline is on the bids, but.
All right, do we still have confidence it'll be done by school term of 2026? Mind you,
Yes, if
this
we're
was
calling
first
this
brought
one
up,
25, yes.
yes, this was first brought up about a year and a half ago, if not over a year and a half ago, so. Okay. Next one, we have the second fire station in the Hills area.
Yeah, the concept plan's been designed. We do need to have one more meeting next week, and then we should be able to turn them loose to move forward on that.
Next, we have the Oak Valley Boulevard, the speed tables installations.
The speed tables have been installed. On tonight's agenda is the radar signs that will go in Lakeview Oaks Drive. And they'll be, as soon as we get them in, those will be installed and we'll be done with that project.
So let's do a little forward thinking here. So once this project is complete, let's say it's a success, what are the next neighborhoods or what's the next steps for this? Or are we just stopping at Oak Valley?
Wait, I just want, before you go farther, I want you to define success, because
Whatever success is.
we had a lot of people want them, and we're getting a lot of responses from people who live in the neighborhood who don't like them.
Sure.
So I just need to know, we just have to be careful when we use the word success moving on. But I'm fine with them, but I don't drive on the road, but I'm just saying.
Right.
We got to be careful on the word of success, because there's people that don't think it's a success.
Right, but point being is that is this a one and done type of project? Or if the council deems necessary to do to another neighborhood, will we continue moving forward with
I
it?
think our original thing was we were going to look at South Street and look at a couple of the other major roads.
That's fine, that's fine.
Yeah,
I just
that
want to make
was
sure.
it. Yeah.
that
It's not a one and done.
It's not a one and
Okay.
done, yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, South was another area of concern that if this works well, we plan to implement it on South Avenue as well.
Okay. This one's more in the county, but this is a Hancock widening project between the Turnpike and 561A.
We did, we met with Lake County and the property owners last week on the project, and, it is moving forward, not as quickly as they want to, but the county did sub out a lot of the design work to a private firm. But I don't remember the percentage, but it's not moving real quickly, but they are working on it.
Okay.
They've hired half to do the design work on some of that.
All right, next one is probably one of bigger concern for all of us, which is a wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah, just engineering's ongoing. We did we're working on hiring a CMAR to help speed up the process. We did have a meeting for that, and we'll probably be bringing a contract to y'all shortly to implement that process.
Okay.
But while that's being done, it's still under design as well.
So the next few we're going to be talking about GFL was the next, of course, we just spoke about that one. The next was the RFP for the Trailhead Park. Of course, we're going to be voting on that bid tonight, so I'm going to skip that one. The next one kind of has a 2 and 1. So it was the Parks Workshop number 2 for the 30-acre parcel. Now, we are waiting on the social media aspect, or the social media RFP to come back so we can start targeting surveys citywide. So, that being said, where do we stand on the RFP for the social media?
Let me see. We did hold our pre-bid meeting for that. We had several interested firms. Let me see when the due dates for the social media RFP are August 15th.
August 15th? Okay.
Okay, can I ask a question on that one, too?
Yeah,
I'll
go
ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm going to get water.
I don't, well, I'm asking you personally.
I'll get water after.
Do you want somebody on council to be, I do not want to be part of the thing, but do you want somebody on council to look at the RFQs for this social media piece?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's more, thank you. Yeah, I think somebody.
I would choose to bow down on it, but if you would like to take that lead, or somebody, I'm fine with doing that.
That's fine, I'll review it, just to make sure, unless someone on council would like to review it.
I'm just saying, I just think it,
I mean,
again.
I would like to, but I do know of someone that I believe has put in an application, so I will be
Yeah, sure, just trying to
regretfully,
just.
yeah, I just prefer not to then get involved on
Yeah,
that.
so I just think from the other aspect of just, that way you can do the work and it's about council like you did on the parks.
Okay, sounds good, that's fine.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I think the next one is on hold, which is the second phase of septic to sewer.
Yes, it's on hold.
This is Mayor Kelly's favorite one, the landscaping of City Hall.
So I've been pushing Dobson to come out.
I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna, if you didn't bring it up, I wasn't gonna bring it up. I just try to,
No, hey, it's fair. It's fair.
it's not fair sometimes. It's just, it's past fair to frustrating, so we can move on. They're working on it, so hopefully in the next few weeks, I'll have something it wrapped up.
I can give you Dobson's
I
latest.
heard that a couple months ago.
Yeah, that was the same thing I heard it on, but
They said they're gonna begin the demo of the landscaping this weekend, and they'll be delivering and installing the landscaping on Monday, August 11th. And I requested they continue the work until it's done. Don't pull off the job and work on another one and go back and forth. But once you're here, stay here until it's done. So that was from the owner himself.
thank you.
Next one we're also going to be voting on today, or discussing, which is a memorial wall for veterans first responders, so we'll skip that. I think the last one, yeah, any substance, this is a splash pad at the library.
We have not worked on that, but what I can do is have, the engineer's been here several times in anticipation of it coming up. I can have him at the next meeting if you want. He can kind of give a review of his concept.
Sure.
And,
That'd be good.
and kind of let everybody take a look at it.
Yep. Pam, any issues with that? Are you good with that?
Nope, I'm good with that, thank you.
Let's just start at the library open first.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Let's get the library up first.
I just want something. I mean, we got the fire station. That's crossed off my list, so I'm kind of happy about that.
It's not full up full list, but it's close.
It's close, that's true. I'll give you that. All right, thanks, Mark.
Sir.
Have a public comment for those projects?
Also, the Trailhead Park bathrooms, the interior renovations are done. Encourage y'all to go out and look at it. It was done on, on budget and on time, so ended up being a good project.
And within a year. That's impressive. Project within a year.
Somebody tell me what I'm saying, I can't. Moving on to manage the consent agenda. Is there anybody in the audience want to speak on anything on the consent agenda? Or anybody from council want to pull anything from the consent agenda?
Jennifer Morse, 1064 Golden Dawn Loop. I just had a couple questions. One, the lift station rebuild. I just was curious at what the rebuild is.
So typically, when you have it's machinery, you have the option of either purchasing a new, or you rebuild it, right? So essentially, you take it apart and you put new components, new parts into it. It's cheaper than buying a whole new one altogether. So it's an effort
So
to save
where
costs.
does that stand in the project update that you?
So I
got an
don't have
update on?
that particular item in my project list. Small items like that I typically don't track, because that's, even though, yes, it's technically a project, that's just standard maintenance on lift stations.
Okay, so but does it the pump water, the potable water that we're
No,
concerned about?
basically, it will lift raw sewage from one level to the other. So they're small pieces. You'll see them periodically throughout the neighborhoods. They could take up a 15 by 15 square concrete, little metal, and all it does is lift solid waste up and try to get it up, because sewage, we have a gravity-fed sewage system, and it doesn't flow uphill, so we have to make it. So over the years, we periodically have to go through, replace bearings, just like you would in your car.
Okay,
So
so
it's
that's
just-
not part of the building a new station?
No, this is just,
Okay,
Standard maintenance.
this is your garbage disposal in your house. We're not redoing the whole plumbing, it's just one piece of it. Does that make sense?
yes, thank
Okay,
you.
okay.
The other question I just had was, I guess the CUP permit is up again, the renewal application, and our third-party contractor is charging $27,000 or 26 and some odd change for, to update the application with additional data. Do we have any idea if that is going to get us a actual permit that the St. John Water Authority is going to approve this time, or is
It'll
that gonna
definitely
be
get us
years?
closer. St. John's asked for some additional information, and this is, This is to respond to their request for more information. We gotta go out and do some more work with SMW Geosciences.
And that's not included in our contract rate with that, that Geo Services?
No, not
Because
this
it's just
additional work.
to update some of the data, right? Like I can't remember, I've looked at so many things, but it seems like that would be included in their work that they already do with us.
She's done groundwater modeling for us before, but it's another process she has to do.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With that said,
I'm sorry, I have two questions.
sure.
I apologize. For item 6, the speed radar signs, are these two that we have, are they pretty much the same as what you have currently?
So that's a great question. The ones we have right now are trailer mounted. These are
Okay.
going to be these are going to be stationary, not mobile.
These are
And,
like, equivalent to when you come into Oak Valley, the ones that sit on the pole, they have them going in Quail Valley also.
And asked the sheriff's department to take a look at different options, and they felt this was the best option. And it's the exact same one that Quail Valley uses. But Oak Valley has one that breaks a lot, so we didn't go with one like that.
Is this just informational, or is it gonna be citations listed to it if somebody speeds?
No, it's just more to make people
Just
aware of
one.
their
Right,
speed.
informational then, okay.
Yeah.
Basically
more
scare the hell
awareness.
out of you when it flashes its lights at you.
But it does keep data, right, for future planning? Does it do something like that? Because it said something about invaluable data insights for future planning.
Yeah, I don't remember if this model does that, but some of them do. I can go back and look. Some of them do data collection, but we have a
I
data
think this one
collection
takes
box that we use.
a collection of data on that, from what I was reading up on it. Then,
Those were your two.
the other question I had on item 8,
It's 3.
on item 8, I saw the two quotes. One was for Florida Premier Painting, one was from R&S Contracting. I didn't see the other one.
Half.
Yes. I did not see it in here at all, so, again, I've mentioned it before that always going for the lowest amount is not always the wise way to go. So I unfortunately cannot,
So half quoted $53,250.
where the heck, oh, I see, my
Yeah.
net increase,
That's it's more of a
53,250?
change order they wrote.
oh gosh, the way they did that, okay.
RNS was $37,250.
Yeah, and then the 20,650, okay. Thank you.
Anything else, ma'am? Debbie,
That's all for me, thank you on that consent
Okay.
agenda.
Are you good, Joe?
Yep, I'm fine.
Can I get a motion to approve the manager's consent agenda?
So moved?
Can I get a second?
A second.
First and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All opposed?
All
Aye.
opposed?
Sorry, aye,
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Ay, ay, ay.
Okay, bid award for 15, we're moving 15 up now. At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Eric, because this is you and not me, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. So Scott, want to give us an intro on this? Hold 2 seconds.
I'll give you as much as you'd like. There was a request for proposal, as you know, for Trailhead Park Design and Improvement Project. We've been through a pre-bid meeting, questions. Inspire actually then did a concept plan that they based their bids off of, and we now have two requests for proposal responses that are in your packet. Just so everybody's clear, requests for proposals are a little different from straight bids. Straight bids, like the things you'll get for buying a new truck or buying equipment or things like that, where there's a specific item and they just have a price and you go with the lowest price. A request for proposal specifically asks for qualifications, experience, other projects they've done, and specifically the request for proposal for Trailhead Park had within it all the things that they had to respond, which are all in your packet. And both of the bidders that you have been, staff has found to be responsive bidders. In this particular, the evaluation criteria, experience and qualifications were to be 30%, project approach and methodology 25%, cost effectiveness and budget 20%, proposed project timeline 15%, references and past project performance 10%. In other words, this is not one that is just completely price sensitive. They were requested, based on the concept plan that they bid on, to give a budget which was itemized, and they have both done that, and you've had that in your packet. I'm not the one to answer specifics about the bids, but just as far as the process itself. So tonight you have the two packages or the two proposals that are before you, and whatever questions that you have, I'm sure staff is here to, and perhaps the applicants, to answer questions. At the end of the night, you reserve the discretion to do what you think is best for the city. You can reject all of them and say, I don't see any proposals that we feel are best for the city. You can table this for further information in the future, or if you are comfortable with one of the applicants, you can go ahead and approve based on any contingencies that you'd need. In this particular, we do not have, because this wasn't a fixed type price situation and the proposals were a little bit fluid, we don't have there was no specific contract that was in the bid document, so whomever is selected tonight, we're going to have to go together and put together a contract that's satisfactory both to the city and to the applicant. Then that contract will come back to you for formal approval later. The couple other things that need to be done, as you know, I think the intent was to pay for this largely, if not entirely, from CRA funding. If that's the case, we'll have to have, now it is you, but we'll have to have a separate notice CRA meeting to approve that spending. And the other thing that's always kind of been in the back on this project is portions of this project will require DEP approval because of the original grant money that brought us Trailhead Park. They kept some strings attached with that. I don't think there's any anticipated concerns there, but we do need to go through the process and get their approval. Some have asked whether we could potentially phase the project if that helps. In other words, if there's some things that we need to get approval or waiting on from the state, can we go ahead and get some other things done? Yes, you can certainly do that, and we can actually structure the contract that way, again, making sure that it works for both us and the applicant. So that's a lot of rambling and setup to say it's here before you tonight. This has been kicked around for a while, so whatever questions you have legally, I can try to answer, but whatever questions you have about the park or the proposals, I defer to others. So.
Thank you, Scott. And with that being said, to your point, this has been a long road till we get here. And I know a lot of people have put in their time and efforts, and regardless of how we got here, I do want to thank everyone who's put in their hard work, including Jennifer Morse, for really kickstarting this. So thank you for allowing this to happen. Again, regardless of how we got here, and I think we just got to look forward for all of Minneola. So thank you for all those involved, and thank you, Jennifer.
So question, there was a grant for, did we get the grant stuff in this year?
We did submit a letter of intent for $1.7 million grant.
Okay, and I think we have a meeting tomorrow morning. So just to clarify with you, this is important that we get this going.
Absolutely.
Because we're meeting with Walt Disney Government Relations tomorrow morning, and this is where we're going to see what they can kick in, because they do some part things. So I'm just saying when you look at the funding dollar amount, we're hoping to get that reduced. Worst case scenario, this is it, but I'm just saying we're working at it.
Absolutely.
And so once I meet with government relations tomorrow and we kind of establish that relationship, I'll probably be passing it off to you.
Yep, sounds good.
To you, but we're just going to walk with them, and they're meeting with us, and Livewell Foundation's meeting with them also. So Livewell's kind of working with Disney, so we're hoping some good things come out of it. So just giving you a heads up.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
That being said, are both applicants here today?
Sure.
I think one may be here. Can you come up to the podium and, for a second?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Daniel McSwain, SCG Fields. Thank you for the opportunity to be an applicant for this RFP.
Awesome. Yeah, a couple questions. I reviewed in depth with the city manager and city attorney the proposal and the bids that we had available. And it seems like in yours, there were some, what I would see as allowances, if you will, that's built into the actual final price that you guys proposed. Can you explain how that would work? You know, does that mean that we potentially could have no change orders since we do have allowances that are built into the proposal? You know, of course, best case scenario, we don't use those 700,000, but of course, we probably are gonna have to. So can you just explain that process a little bit to the rest of council?
Sure, and as it was explained, an RFP is not necessarily just a fixed price. This is a design-build RFP, right? So there has to be a full design, engineering that's implemented, and then the build portion. So in order to give a budgetary number, we like to give allowances based on what our past performance experience is. So we've given, to your point, $700,000 in total allowances. 250,000 is called an owner's contingency allowance. So that's, you may say, we want to buy batting helmets for teams, right? We may get to a point where you want to put water fountains somewhere. So there are a lot of things that as we go through the design phase, there are things that come up that you may say, we want this, or we may want to appropriate more of this to something else. So there's an owner's allowance. The other allowances are for earthwork. We have to balance the site. We have to run an ag tech, so we run a survey, run an ag tech, understand how we can balance the site. So we have $100,000 allowance on potential earthwork. It could be much lower than that.
Sure.
We don't know that until we go through the design phase. We've gone high on all of the allowance areas based on, again, our experience in building these parks all over, and feel very confident that there is no need for a change order. Actually, we feel like there's going to be potential savings.
So the savings, I know when I went to the opening of the school, they had the same concept, I believe, when they built the school. And at the end, they did like a refund. I'm not saying we're getting $700,000 back, but that part is, there is an opportunity for savings. But if you don't mind me asking, I just want to understand the process. We can approve this tonight, but since it's not a contract, that doesn't mean they have it. That just means that you now are going to move forward to come with a contract. If you can't come up with a contract, I'm assuming you can, but if you can't, then we're not bound tonight till we come back to the contract. But this is just, we're good with this, let's just take it to the next level.
In effect, whoever you would pick tonight would be you're saying that's your first choice. So it's, you're ranking them number one, and you wish to move ahead and to, based on their proposal, put together a contract and bring that back for approval. So it's, if all goes well, yes, we would expect them to get it, and then we'll bring that back and finalize the numbers for approval. But yes, it's not a contract, but they have been formally selected as the first choice, yeah.
We had this with the fire department, where we went through it, and then they came back and they couldn't come to or something happened.
Yeah, that was a lovely time. The contract, you may remember, what happened there, unfortunately, was the timing was lovely right post-COVID when construction prices skyrocketed. And in that case, though, that was actually not an RFP. That was a specific bid price. Okay. The contractor, well, we don't need to get into it too much, but they bid the price, and then basically they came back and said, we can't honor that price. There's still some ongoing issues that we're working through with that, but that one was different from an RFP. This is, as our applicant said, this has a lot more contingencies and things built into it, but what was more important was to get a company that the city was good with, that was capable and able to do the job, and that you liked their approach to the project.
So that's interesting, Scott. So if we were to compare this, and I'm assuming I can say the other bidder's name, right? Is that,
yeah, absolutely, sure.
So if we were to compare SCG with Gomez, did Gomez's proposal or what they submitted had anything similar? I don't think it did. I think there's a little bit more cut and dry.
like I said, I can't speak so much for the bids themselves.
Right,
but
or,
yes,
sorry,
I
so
do
maybe the
think
question's
that-
for Mark.
But I
So-
think, yes, I do think your question is a good one. I think the way they went about it was a little different.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
This had more, yeah.
Sorry, it was
yeah.
very different.
Yeah, okay, very different, if you want to go.
You're saying Gomez went about it very different, correct?
Correct.
Correct,
yes.
okay, yeah,
Where
okay.
I think with SCG.
With SCG.
Correct, they gave us that,
Okay.
that 700,000 is allowing
I
us.
just wanted to make sure we were,
Right,
yeah,
right.
okay.
So they're, essentially, they are under-promising, over-delivering. I want to make sure I said that right and not the other way around.
So,
Right.
but it sounds like, and we've learned from projects here, is one is we are gonna have some type of time frame put on this, correct?
Absolutely,
Okay, so just clarifying that piece.
absolutely.
Second off, in this type of contract, it seems like we've had a couple of challenges with the library, and it comes back with change orders. There was some discussion this week about a change order, and it was like $50,000 for the change order, but then it was another $10,000 for overhead. That stuff like that, as this is very fluid, and you look at it and you realize that you're gonna put this here and it really needs to go here, as you go around and you're working through the project, you and your team, and like, okay, we need to shift the pickleball courts this way or this way.
Sure.
That's not included in change orders to the plan, it kind of just,
Yeah,
it kinda
it
is flu-
evolves based on.
right,
yeah.
it's kind of a work in progress. Okay, I like that, change orders, bad, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else have any questions before I move on?
I have a comment.
Sure.
I was expecting to see tonight a presentation of what this thing's going to look like. And the reason I said there were very different approaches to it, with Daniel's approach, it was more of, this is what we've done before. If I'm wrong, correct me. This is what we've done before, and this is kind of what we do a great job on projects, and here's a project, there's a project, there's another project. And Gomez said, here's something like we would put in your park.
Right.
Swing sets, this thing, that thing, I don't know. I thought he was looking at the same thing over and over again, but then again, I was hoping when they came tonight, I could ask some questions. But Gomez doesn't come, and therefore, I don't ask him any questions. And we're gonna pick who's gonna work on the approach to this. I feel we've only got one pick. Daniel's he's the only one here.
Correct.
I don't know really what the end result is gonna even look like, or I don't even have a concept of what we're approving here. And yeah, we can approve some money for this and some money for that, but the whole thing came out though with $3 million. That's a lot of money for, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, but-
I don't spend $3 million on something I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, other than we'll work for you. If there's, if we go over price, it's gotta be this. If we go under price, you can do that. That's all well and good, and I don't have a problem with that, but I don't have any idea what we're gonna get in the end result. Sorry.
Yeah, but I think to Scott's point, what we're doing now is picking someone that we can get into that next phase of it, right? So that we are gonna, it's gonna come back to us to approve the contract, and I'm
We're
sure,
picking one of the two.
one of the two, correct.
I got that.
Right. But then, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Scott and Dan, when we come up for contract, that's when we're gonna get more into the nuts and bolts of it and see, okay, this is what's gonna look like. I'm sure you guys will be able to provide some sort of renderings to say, or this is more realistically of what it's gonna be. So to Joe, to your point, then you'll be able to actually see some visuals behind it before we all approve for the actual awarding of the contract. Right now, we're just awarding the bidder, we're not approving the contract.
I understand that. I still don't know where the hell we're going with this.
Yeah, before you would actually be approving the monies or the contracts, frankly, before the CRA even does so, I'm sure they come back, and at that time, naturally, they can have a proposal with, here's the project, here's what's in that project, this is what you're paying for, this is where we are. What happened with the trailhead is, I think it was fast-tracked, trying to keep it short, it was fast-tracked. So rather than go out and pay a bunch of money to have someone design, here's exactly what we're gonna have ahead of time and bid that out, went ahead and bid to see what companies were out there, what, have experience in the industry, and say, here, this is what we want to do. There was a pretty detailed scope with all this thing was several pages that several of the folks in the audience helped add things to and went through and put that scope together. So they had something to frame it on.
That was
but they didn't-
Gomez.
Yes, but Gomez had some things, but both of the bidders had the scope there, but they put together a general, here's how we would go about it. But we don't have a final, here's the design plan that we have. That will have to be put together and as part of the contract, put the contract together, and they can come forward and give you a proposal probably at that time with here's exactly what you're spending your money for.
Time has been important to the city council and the CRA as well. And, the proposed timeline is much faster with SCG Fields than the other company.
So a couple of questions that we had in the past. First off, most of the products are coming from the U.S. We're not sourcing things from Switzerland, right? Like doors.
Most products are from the US.
Yeah, I say most, because I know there are those exceptions, but the major components are, so that was it. And Mark, I know in the past, you've tried to go through the piece, and I guess once this goes live, who manages the dollar? So you're giving somebody, to Joe's point, a boatload of money, and then you're going to have actuals come in. So is it an ongoing piece of this project where, as you're moving through, that someone from the city or you, Eric, or
Well, I think it's-
I'm just asking you how it
Yeah,
works. I don't. I just-
Typically, for these size projects, again, depends how the contract is written, but it's usually paid by milestones. So you reach certain milestones and you pay a certain percentage based on those hit milestones. Is that correct, or?
That is correct. And Councilmember Saunders, in the proposal, in the RFP, there were actually a lot of line-itemed square foot for a gravel walkway, right? Square yards for concrete. So there are very itemized prices.
The
that
walk
are
out onto the water.
Correct. Now, when we go through the design phase, we will then create a schedule of values. And the schedule of values will then be billed according to each milestone. So that's how the project goes through.
Yeah, that's how I do all my major multi-million
That's
dollar
fine.
projects, yeah.
And their timing is about 4 months faster.
Now,
I'm sorry, what was that, Mike?
Their timing's about 4 months faster.
no,
so
Mark,
it's
as we
pretty
go to this project, I know in the past, you've sourced things through the city. Are we sourcing any of this stuff, or are they sourcing everything?
Probably the big ticket items we will, but there's a way we do it that streamlines it.
Are you
Basically,
okay with,
yeah.
are you okay with us sourcing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Typically, we set, most municipalities will set like a limit. Anything over $10,000, we'll do a owner direct purchase.
Thank you. I just want to make sure that we're,
And
Yeah.
from a timing perspective, because we touched upon this a little bit, of course, with next year being the city's centennial 100 years, I would like to have that at Trailhead once this is completed and done. Doing anything in the summer, I know you said 4 months earlier, but doing any outdoor activity in the summer is never a good idea. So either we want to target this for spring, which may be a little too aggressive, or for fall. So I'm okay if we target fall to have this completed by fall of next year.
yeah, because I would
That
factor,
means you gotta work through the summer.
Yeah, I'll work through summer.
but you also have to factor in hurricanes or anything like that.
Correct. So
happening, too. I mean, there's right now, knowing our track record, fall is probably safer.
Yeah.
Let's go with fall.
Well, act of God always gets everybody out of
Yeah.
a commitment.
Well, yeah.
You can't fight with God. You can't. I can't either, so.
I was gonna say, but we got you on our side, Joe, so you can talk to him. Talk to the man.
From a timeline
But I'm
perspective,
still disappointed that only one of the bidders is here. My inclination to say I'll vote for the bidder that's here. I mean,
That's what I told Eric. I'm like, well, that made my decision a little bit easier. It's just, there's more of a, they want it more than the,
yeah, well, I'm disappointed that,
oh, no, I am
let
too.
me make that clear. I'm disappointed that Gomez is not here. Amen.
I know one last item that, and this is more gonna be of a change, and again, Scott and I spoke about this earlier. So one thing that the RFP did not include was lights in the pickleball area. For anybody that lives, of course, we all live in Florida in the summer, that's typically not a problem. However, in the wintertime, when that sun sets at 5, that's gonna render that park, or that portion of that park essentially useless, right? Because we have no lights. So one thing I would like to add for council approval, and if they see fit, is also to add lights to that pickleball area so that we can make Trailhead not only a daytime park, but more of a nighttime park as well.
I'm gonna have to,
But just pickleball.
no, I'm gonna say, if you're gonna do it, you need to do the skate park too.
That's, I think they're close enough that we can.
Yeah,
work
and
them through.
it's not a full Olympic-sized New York Stadium lighting, just a couple lights, floodlights down on the bowl and the 2 bars, but I think if you're running the power there, then you should need to do others. I've gotten a lot of push over the years for kids who wanted
But I think
to
if,
skate at night, so if you're gonna put
absolutely.
lights there,
Now's
let's
the
do
perfect
Especially-
opportunity, I
If we're
agree.
gonna do
Yeah.
it, let's do
Yep.
there.
Especially during the summertime, because
Now,
it's
does
super
this-
hot out.
You are correct, yeah.
And they wanna be able to do this when, you know,
And so another
The
thing, if
sun's
you're
not
talking lights, for 15 years, I've kind of beat the drum of lights on the trail. Is that not gonna, we're gonna have to address that separately, which I'm fine with, I just need to make sure that there is a part between Highway 27 and, what is the road coming out of your neighborhood?
What is it? South Division?
The one before, where where it goes through the woods and it is dark. There's no lights
Oh,
on the trail,
yeah.
it's not safe.
Country Road.
Yes, maybe we don't need to address it for this. Let's leave this. If we can add skate park to this, that would
Absolutely.
be great.
Yep, agreed.
But I still think you need to address lights on the trail. Mark and I have talked to developers, and they've always said, oh, yeah, if we develop this piece of property, well,
Well,
they're not coming, and they're not developing it, so we're kind of stuck.
I agree with you on the lights for the skateboard park, 100% agree, but I think if we're also gonna be reviewing the lighting schedule for this park, let's also include this here now. I think if we're gonna go to the well, it's better to go to the well once.
I would look at it, but it's like an option C, like, what is the incremental on it?
Okay, I think we can.
I'm just
that's
saying,
fair-
there's
fair
a
play.
part here, it's not a deal breaker,
Sure,
but what is the opportunities on that piece? Just because it is a safety factor
sure.
on that piece.
So, that being said, I think it's, based on what I'm hearing, council would like to add that, the lighting portion of it.
Yeah, we need to address the lighting.
But if you add lighting for the skateboard and you add lighting for the pickleball,
Can't afford lighting for the baseball.
I'm sorry,
Can't afford lighting for the baseball, that gets expensive.
pickleball.
No, there's a baseball field too.
I haven't got to that yet,
Okay. Okay.
okay? You've still got the rest of the park. The park has to have hours. So the park is typically open from daylight to sunset. Except we'll have a sign there that says park is open from daylight to sunset, but you can play pickleball and you can do skateboarding, but is the bathroom open? Now, the bathroom's got to be open, and somebody opens and closes that, so an attendant has to be there to close the bathrooms, and somebody's got to turn the lights on and off. So what time does the park close?
So
If it doesn't close at sunset, what time does it close?
So it's interesting you bring that up, because Winter Garden, they have 12 pickleball courts right off of, by Oakland off 50. Their pickleball closes at 10 PM, when the rest of the park closes at sunset. And their lights are on a timer, so at 10 o'clock, whether you're playing like I have, at 10 o'clock, those lights turn off on you. So, to your point, it is possible to absolutely say,
Yeah, we ju-
pickleball is open till,
You just have to tell people.
100%.
The citizens need to know what they're doing.
Correct. And within this, there will be
signage.
signage, there'll be rules to play. In fact, Claremont over at the Arc and Winter Garden, all their rules are the same when it comes to pickleball, of how they play, the hours, et cetera. Both are from 7 AM till 10 PM. They're all on timers, et cetera. So,
Okay.
to answer your point, yes, there are some
So
municipalities that
The
do.
lights automatically go off at a particular time, and that's not relative to when the sun sets.
No, they'll be dynamically changed based on time, daylight savings time, et cetera.
How are they changed dynamically?
Based on
By a light sensor?
either by light sensor
When
or,
it goes dark, the lights come on for an hour, and then it goes off.
I'm sure there's multiple ways we can solve this problem, but yes.
But we still have, the restroom has to be open.
Correct.
So the city employee has to go there and close the restaurant.
Restroom.
Not the
Restroom.
restaurant, the restroom, sorry. Nobody eats there, I hope. So we've got the lights are variable and the restroom is open and has to be monitored by an individual, he might as well turn off the lights and stay there and watch the sun go down. Okay, I'm sure there's some way you can do that. We have computers that can forecast anything, artificial intelligence can look into it. But I'm just saying, it's a little bit complex when you start, turn the lights on here, turn the lights on there, open the bathroom over here, close the bathroom, where's the employee? That's all I'm saying. And we'll get to that when we get to the finished site plan and all the amenities and what have you. We'll get to that point because we're gonna have to cover it.
Sure, no, absolutely.
That being said, it's a little more complicated than just put a light up.
No, 100%, yes.
What I'm trying to say.
Right.
Amen. I'm done with that. Enough.
Fine, all right.
I have questions.
Yep.
If we go with you all, if we vote and everything, what I would like to see is on the basketball courts, the pickleball courts, how long is that gonna last us? So, in other words, are we gonna have to, resurface those courts in 3 years, 4 years? What kind of cost are we looking at? Because like the dog park, we had to, after 2 or 3 years, we have to come up with, $20,000, $30,000, to keep it upgraded. So I wanted to see if when you do that, what kind of costs we're looking at to
So typically,
maintenance.
and again, a lot of this is handled through the design phase. So the design phase, we're going to ask questions like, how many participants in pickleball? How many leagues do you have? How many nights a week? How many hours? It's all a function of hours of use, right? It's
Sure.
just, it's flow of people running on the courts.
The demand.
Based on that, then we will make recommendations on what level. Right now, the typical pickleball courts and basketball courts that we're building with the surfacing, they're warranted for 5 years on average is the surface warranty. We see them lasting 7 to 8 years. If you're looking at more of the long term, and part of our design phase will also be, here's your long-term plan on upkeep and maintenance. A lot of times if you replace it at year 5, you're protecting that lower base, right? You're only taking the top portion off and replacing it, and that'll extend the entire system for 20 years, right? So there are a lot of different phases, but most of that is discussed during the design phase.
So, does part of your design include how the city's gonna maintain it after you're done and gone?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every portion of it will be
And is
discussed.
the city manager aware that he's gotta put the staff into the budget?
That was my next
And
question.
the reason I bring this up, because we have a park. We own the park, and we did poorly in maintaining it. And we leased it to the county for 30 years. And the county spent a lot of money making it right and put employees there to take care of it and so forth. That caught the city council by surprise when we found out how much it cost to maintain a park. It was great we got the park almost for free. It was great we had to pay for the lights. It was great the park was right in the middle of where all the people were gonna live, but it wasn't great when we found out how many employees it took to maintain that park. The ball field, the concession station, the bathrooms and all that stuff took a lot more people than we had on staff here at the time. And therefore, it came as a big surprise to us. So part of this contract, I would think, would be a proposal at the end that says, and here's what you're gonna have to spend to maintain this beautiful pickleball court, this beautiful playground and so forth, on an annual basis, not just
5
every
years.
5 years, you're gonna have to put down surfaces on the pickleball court. But this is what you're gonna have to do every day of the week, every week of the year.
The best thing I can say is, I can put you in contact with a couple of other municipalities with same types of systems, pickleball and basketball, and share best practices. That's probably the best
Okay,
approach.
so you're not gonna tell us what we need to do, you're gonna tell us where we can go and find out what to
It would be
do.
difficult for me to understand what your man-hour cost is. I mean, I guess if we want to sit down and go through the entire design
What our
phase,
what is?
what your
City
cost
staff.
per man-hour
Our
is.
city staff.
Yeah,
That's irrelevant. You tell us what the work is, and we'll know how much it costs us to employ somebody.
Every piece of equipment will have a maintenance manual and warranty on it. Absolutely.
Good. So Joe, if you remember going back then, and this is asking you, Eric, also, because what I would like to prefer not to see is the MAC ever again. That was a nightmare, building the MAC. It came up every 2 weeks. We had these discussions, what type grass, what type this. The thought process for me is I'd like to see it, us approve it, you take it over and you just build it, not have to come back every 2 weeks. We want to approve this.
Exactly.
What color swing set do you want? What color canopy do you want? It just needs to get done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just need to make sure that that's pretty much it, is, you know.
Yeah, the only,
And then I'll ask you every week, give me a project update on them.
100%, I'll be good too, not a problem. Yeah, I think during the design phase, I know we've also discussed we want to have, especially in the playground aspect of things, it's just to have for the special needs as well, so we want to make sure that we have that aspect
ADA
of things.
compliant.
Absolutely.
Yep, so it's not only that, but I think that even with the playground structure that we did pick, that passes all codes, that passes all certifications that are required for a playground as well, is that correct? Correct.
Is this
So-
gonna be a point in time where we're gonna have to bring a nighttime park attendant on, just a part-time evening, somebody to hang out at the park at night?
That's more of a city manager question.
Yeah, I'm just, no, it is, I'm just saying, so, when you're maybe not this year, but if you're shooting for the fall for this year, it's not an issue for this budget year, but for the next coming budget year, you probably need to think staffing on a part-time basis of.
Right, and,
Well,
Staffing in general.
but if we can just make sure that it's not the city manager.
100%, and I think this is an interesting point, because
Yes.
by us now including
Sorry.
pickleball, by us now resurfacing the basketball, and by us now potentially now looking at the 30-acre parcel, this is opening up.
A bigger park, rec department.
Correct, which now we need to look into bringing on someone who will creating that recreational leagues, who will be doing that aspect of the park situation. So, and again, I want to thank Jennifer, because I know you've been wanting to bring this up for a while. So again, this is a catalyst that's really going to be able to bring all this together. So we need to start thinking about that for next budget season as well.
Right, but to Joe's point, once you start going down that route, it is very much of a, recreation really does not make that much money.
Agreed.
But that's why they pay taxes. So
100%.
It has that, you have that balance, we just have to be aware.
Right, and I think, and again, this I think is gonna be a good catalyst where not everything that we do is gonna be revenue generating, but as a growing city, these are things that we need to start offering to our guests,
Absolutely.
I was gonna say guests, offer to our residents, in order for them to make Minneola more, not destination, but a place where they can then come in. Because if you think about it, just one quick point on that, and again, perfect example is when I go play pickleball, I go to Winter Garden, I go to Claremont. After that, I go eat somewhere around those two cities. So my secondary dollars, if you will, are gonna go to those cities, where the idea is if we have some sort of recreational activity here within Minneola and we continue to build it, then those secondary dollars from people coming in from the municipalities will stay within Minneola.
But I think it's like the police department where we have to grow it just naturally, like all of a sudden, we can't start a rec department and say, okay, we're adding 5 people to rec. It's like, oh, we need to have one person, and every
Agreed.
year you incrementally
Yes.
add.
I'm not saying let's turn on the fire hose out this all at once. I'm just saying this is something when you start thinking about bringing in one person is already 100% increase in what we currently have. So
Or bring in a half a person.
if you can make that happen, I'll be very surprised.
I have
Jeez.
There's one more thing I want to understand. Daniel, let's say we're going to give you this project to begin. When you're finished, he comes back with a proposal for a beautiful park, okay? What do we do then? Do we give it to Daniel and say, here, you did all this work, we have a design, we have everything, and our proposed design, not a finished design necessarily? Do we, at that point, take the work that he's done and go out for bids?
No,
No, he's a design,
We don't do that.
He's a design build.
it's a design-build
So
structure.
we're locking in them as the designer for this project at this point. Okay? Just want to make sure that's understood.
Now, that being said, Dan, can you, and I know that, and I believe, Mark, you sent all of us kind of a portfolio of the parks that they've done in the past and some of the projects. Can you just go from a high level, some of the ones that are near to us geographically, that are similar scope with what we're doing now?
Absolutely. Similar scope. We've built parks actually, we're building parks right now in St. Johns County. St. Johns is expanding dramatically. There's 6 parks. We're involved with 3 parks. As far as scope, Most recent would be Ave Maria, City of Ave Maria, City of Weston, and near Fort Lauderdale. Projects around here, we did Camping World Stadium Field. Flagler College, we do a
That's
lot
the
of
new
work at
camping
Flagler.
world. The new field, not the one that got flooded, right?
Correct.
Just want to clarify. Thank you.
Bethune-Cookman University, Daytona State College, so we're doing a lot of work. We've built over 130 projects in the state of Florida in the last 10 years, so.
And to confirm, we all know that project of this scope, there may be subbing out, right? So things they're not specialized in. But the core products, that's my concern. I'm sure if you don't sub anything out, even better. But the core product of the fields, the pickleball, what we Minneola are trying to accomplish here, that is all 100% employed by your company, correct?
Correct. We are not only a design-build company, but we self-perform a majority of the work. We don't manufacture playgrounds.
Sure.
So we purchase the equipment, but we will perform a majority of the work.
That makes sense. They don't build skate parks either, but if they're parked at a skate park, they would call somebody. I'm fine with that.
Sure, absolutely. Okay.
I'm good.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
Yeah, do you want to, anybody from public comments for this?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go far, I'm sure there's going to be questions for you.
Jennifer Morse, 1064 Golden Dawn Loop. Few questions. Did I miss a meeting where this was discussed that the council's now all for spending $4 million when the meeting I was at, we didn't want to spend $1.1 million? Did I miss a meeting, or was there like a secret meeting that happened?
No meetings were missed, and we didn't have any secret meetings for this.
How is it that all of you guys are in consensus now? Besides maybe Joe, still.
Well,
Well, we haven't spent the money yet.
right.
Yeah,
so-
we haven't spent the money.
So, yeah, okay.
So
But, yeah,
it's, if we want to take back time, 6 months ago, when you first presented to us, yes, it was quoted at 1.6 million.
0.1.
1.1. In reality, that project would never be able to get done at 1.1 million. It just wouldn't be feasible. And we could ask an expert here if he thinks it's feasible at 1.1 million. So regardless, that 1.1 million would have not been a proper, accurate number to move forward with.
Okay, but that doesn't answer my question. Was there a meeting that happened that got everyone on board with the $4 million proposal?
No, I think what happened is based on after that, what happened 6 months ago, there have been meetings that we've of course discussed Trailhead, and the council has realized that there is a gap that we're now trying to fill. And again, it may have not been filled as fast as some of the public wanted, but we are filling it faster than we originally thought we would.
Okay. So, question for the bidders. Who notified the bidders of this meeting tonight, and how were they notified?
So in the last meeting, we did discuss that we were going to vote on this. So it is public record. If a bidder did view it, that's on them, but
Okay, so none of them were notified
that's a question for.
personally?
I know,
Not by me.
Not
yeah, I do know in the request for proposal, it has a schedule, and tonight's meeting was the award date for the proposal. So I don't know any other
I saw that.
specific invitations that went out, but
Yes, and for full disclosure, I did speak to SCG, but they did bring it up to me that they will be here before I even said anything to them.
Okay. The lights, so now it's okay to have nighttime use in a neighborhood where we thought we were at capacity. Is that correct?
I don't think I understand your question.
Well, we were at, so the question, one of the comments that you guys continually made was that the park was at capacity, we couldn't allow any more people, and it wasn't safe at night, and the neighbors already complained about people there, but now you're willing to leave it open for nighttime use.
So when it comes, I'm thinking of where you're going for this. So part of the proposal, and again, Mark and Scott, keep me honest here, is to increase the parking lot as well. So there will be an increase in capacity for the parks. for
Yes,
people to park.
I have that
Yes.
question, but my main concern is the
Yeah, yeah.
neighbors
Yeah, so I'm getting
and
there.
a nighttime use.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the lights that will be going on here, of course, have to be dark sky compliant. If you look at lights that are currently being installed, especially the more modern ones, they're no longer the 40-foot, 50-foot towers that you see. It's going to be more low light. And Dan, please keep me honest here. It's going to be more low lit so that it only affects the areas that are for it to be used. In other words, you're not going to have light flood or light pollution in the baseball field when we're only trying to tackle the skate park or the pickleball courts.
Right, but when you invite teenagers and whoever else at the skateboard park, and then pickleball users past dusk, you're inviting noise and just general people using the park. I imagine that the neighbors surrounding on Madison Street is not going to be very happy about nighttime use.
So let me ask you a question. When you first brought up your proposal, were they okay back then, or is this
We
something
didn't
you-
have lights.
We didn't have lights.
No, we had said that because of noise, because our pickleball SME said that it does get loud, we said, okay, for everyone to be okay with this and the proposal, we're not going to install lights, and it'll still be a dawn to dusk operational park.
I think from a noise ordinance, and Mark, keep me honest here, I think the city has a noise ordinance starting at 11 PM, or is it 10 PM?
I don't recall.
No, right.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Scott doesn't have his book with him.
Yeah, it's good.
Keep talking.
But I think one of the concerns was, at the past, pickleball courts have been discussed for quite a while, and just trying to find a location for one. But in the winter months, when there's not as much daylight to get full use of that,
Correct.
of the investment that the cities and the CRA are putting into the park, especially in the wintertime.
Correct, yeah, that's exactly, the point of having those lights.
Yeah, I'm just saying you may get opposition from whenever the residents surrounding that area to consider that. To Mr. Saunders' point, the bathrooms can actually be, just like in Groveland parks, they have automatic locks, like timer locks. So if you were to upgrade those to auto locks on the pads, you can actually put a timer and lock it yourself, or, auto lock it without having someone come out and turn a key every night. So
Well, I
that's
think they
something
do a little more than just turn the key. We've had in the past a lot of damage at that restroom. They really need to inspect it every day to make sure it's secure and okay.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'm just saying that that's how they operate their Recs department in Groveland, so maybe someone could reach out to them to see best practices on that with that.
Sorry, Jeff, I just answered
Yes.
your previous question about noise. So typically, and again, this is, quick Google search here, and I can send you the link as well. It says beyond 500 feet, there's really no noise that could be heard. If you do, based on where we are expecting the pickleball courts to be, that's well beyond, I should say, 500 feet from the houses on Madison Street. Not to mention the buildings and trees, et cetera, that would block and disperse that noise as well.
Yeah, but you're adding pickleball, skateboard,
Uh,
and possibly skateboarding and possibly baseball field,
So-
right?
Baseball's a negative.
Baseball, no, so there won't be no lights on
Okay, so
baseballs.
skateboarding and
Correct, but
pickleball.
even the skate park, that's still beyond 500 feet. Now, I don't know the DB levels of a skateboard. I don't know if you know that. technical.
Or the combined levels
Skating
of
or me
those,
hitting the
like,
ground.
I don't,
Could
I'm
go
not
either
gonna.
The- Yeah, so point being, and again, we don't have to have the same time for both parks, right? You could have separate times for pickleball, separate times for skate park, for that exact reason, right? Where you have more noise that comes out of a skate park as opposed to pickleball courts.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of noise I'm not a skater, so. The sand pit relocation between the two residential homes, is anyone going to reach out to them about the, I just call it a sand pit, but there's gonna be dumped sand. I don't know, is that paved? I couldn't tell by the renderings if that was a paved lot or not. But do you think that the residents will have any opposition to dumped sand in between their homes and other residents coming to to pick up said sand.
Yeah, that was a concept created by Inspire that certainly could be changed through this process and getting public input as they move forward. But that intent's not for that pile to be there all the time, because it's going to be a parking lot area there too,
Oh, that's going to also be a parking lot in between the residential homes?
where the city owns, to add some parking over there.
So they can, so I'm just saying this just so we can have these questions ahead of time.
Sure, they're fair.
But, so now we're going to open the park in the evening as well. We're gonna have a parking lot in between two residential homes with cars. I don't know if they have kids or not in those homes, but to me, that's not safe. And then you have headlights flashing right into someone's window in their bedroom. So if I were those residents on either side, I would have a problem with that. So I'm not sure if you guys had talked to them or not. So the pond, we had a grant to excavate the pond before to bring it up to pond standards. I don't even remember, Mark, you and I talked about this, but apparently it wasn't maintained. What are we gonna do going forward if we're spending upwards to $200,000 on a pond renovation? How are we gonna make sure we don't get back to the point that we're at now?
Yeah, with that, I think there was always a belief with staff that it was a wetland area, and so they left it untouched. And it's still not certain that we'll be able to go in and reclaim that back to its original level. That's something that we're had to get approval from the state on. But once it's in place, and we'll know what we can do and not do legally as far as how far we can mow into it and everything, we'll go from there.
May I ask, this is part of the phasing piece, so priority is pickleball courts over pond renovation, right?
Well, I think,
I'm just saying, we're doing this, and this could be when you asked earlier, we're doing it in stages.
yes, correct,
So
correct.
we're
I think priority is the wrong word. I think it's more of a, which one's a more efficient use of the time? It would
Yeah,
be to
whatever.
do.
You know what I mean.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Sorry,
then
Jennifer.
my last question that I'm most excited to hear the answer to is how we got access to old Highway 50. Because last I heard in the meetings, the Lake County said, no way, Jose, that's not gonna happen. You can't have access, but you can have egress when we have a Halloween event, and that's it. So who worked their magic? Who got that done?
So we don't have a driveway permit from Lake County. That'd be part of the work that they're going to have to do to try to obtain that.
Okay, but we've already asked and they said no? So we're gonna ask again?
Yeah, they don't like the current location of the driveway where the house was. Need to be more in the apex of the curb, but even then, they still may say no. We're not certain about that.
So how does that impact the entire design of the spaces and the extension of the lot if that doesn't happen?
We don't know that yet.
We're not sure yet.
You don't have like an option, if this doesn't happen, then this will happen? We haven't.
I'm sure we will once they provide that to us.
The only other real option would be to go around behind the church, but again, that would take state approval. We're not certain we'll be able to do that. That would be the plan B.
Those are all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andy Alexander, 872 Meadow Park Drive, Minneola. My comments are just going to encourage you to just start. I am one for sticking it out, and it's been a couple of years that we've been talking about this, so if tonight's vote is just to get it started, encourage you to do it. They showed up. everybody who put in a bid knew to be here. If they show up, give it to them. It's not that hard, I don't think. When you do start those design concepts and figuring out all of the aspects, I would encourage you also to go back to everyone and anyone who has given input on specific things for this design. We are still in the community. We still want to give you advice. I am not one for overstepping. If a business comes in, they're professionals, they know how to do their job, let them do it. I'm all about just giving some of the advice. You know, it's not my job. I don't get paid for that. But I do know that there's a lot of people in the community that are still willing to give a lot of information for them to take and then create, and then you guys do the money on. So I appreciate it. This is a long time coming. Claremont's special needs playground, literally 3 years, and they're finally got their last of their funding. And so I can't wait to see what they do there. And more parents jumped on that to help them and support them. So you do have the support of the community. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. You have my support 100%. I've been here a long time, but in the run for a long time. And I appreciate how you're going about it. But I want to, you know, it would be great. We're going to vote on this tonight. Good. Congratulations. Let's go. All right, let's get it done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yep.
Let me start with, sorry, it's bedtime. But Amy Danishman, 904 Palm Forest Lane. I just was more worried about if we're picking and choosing, like, where the lights are going based off of the personal interests of, like, you guys and other people. There's going to be other people who are going to say, oh, well, the playground should get lights because it gets dark at 5 during the winter, right? Mm-hmm. Most kids don't go to bed until 9. So what am I going to do with my kids? Or, well, if the baseball field is there, why not light it up? So I feel like there's going to be a lot of pushback with that. But then, obviously, there's the dark skies thing. You can't really light up a baseball field with small lights. So I just feel like a lot of people are going to be concerned about that. Again, just like her, let's get it started because I'm tired of driving to Groveland and Claremont and Orlando, Winter Garden to use their parks. We don't have like a very shady park here right now, and that's an issue for littles who don't like sunscreen. So yeah, I support you guys. I like that, someone showed up to talk about their bid and stuff, so that was great. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, bring it back.
Well, I got a question, and Daniel, I don't know whether that was in the information that was given to you, but we use the park for major events. As an example, Safe Night Out, there could be as many as 3,000 or 4,000 people there. Were you aware of that?
We've looked at we've done preliminary work. Again, most of this before contract was not given to us. We've done preliminary work on how many citizens, how many youth, right? I've done that personally. When we're talking about different events, that again goes through the design phase. We're gonna ask a lot of input from the city council, from residents, and then take that information and then create a design together.
Well, I just want to be careful that we don't spend thousands and thousands of dollars on pickleball courts, and then people stomp all over them. 400 or 500 people walk all over them for an event. Either that, or we're gonna dispense with using it for those events, and we can do them up in the hills. We've got 30 acres up there, So that's a decision we'll have to make at some point in time if it's not considered in the design. That's all.
Well, I think to your point, and again, I don't want to do a tangent here, but with now the advent of additional parks, maybe having rotating locations for a safe night out could be another option. Again, something to discuss, so we can discuss.
Good
it
idea.
another time.
Yeah. Okay, that's all.
Closing final public comment. I'll bring it out for council for a motion to, how do you word this motion, Scott? We're not really accepting the contract, but we're accepting.
Yeah,
to go to the
base-
next step.
Sounds simple, but based on what you've been saying, I would suggest the motion just being to authorize staff to move forward with SCG Fields and bring back a design-build contract for council's approval, subject to state and CRA approval.
Okay. I do have a question for the gentleman, though. If we go down this path, at what point in time are you going to start going back and doing the workshops and all that stuff? Can you do that? I'm just trying to figure out what comes first, the workshop or the contract to the workshops? Where does it?
Well, I think they
fine, just-
both can happen simultaneously, because regardless if it's SCG Field or someone else, let's say for some reason contract falls through, we still have to do the workshops either way.
That's fine. Okay. But
We
there-
can certainly
most of-
build
most
in,
of-
we
most
can
of this-
build into the contract, the, allowances or prices for handling workshops and those type of things. That can be part of their design fee, yeah.
But Mr. Hernandez, your vision is, as we move forward on this, is to do most of this in workshops with your rec team, right?
Yes, it'll be with the rec team and also with SCG Fields in attendance as well.
Okay, because I just don't want to get, if you remember, they spent 3 hours talking about baseball fields as a line item on a, I'm like, trying to keep it separated from the council meeting.
Right,
It's important, but there's a point there. Okay,
Absolutely.
Thank you. With that said, can I get a motion for acceptance to move forward to get a contract?
I'll make a motion for acceptance, and, I don't know, do we say bid reward? Can I say that? No, don't say bid reward?
Yes, subject to contract
Bid reward
approval.
subject to contract with the inclusion of the lights for the pickleball and skate park,
Subject to CRA approval.
subject to CRA approval and subject to state?
Yes.
Cool.
And who's the vendor?
SCG Fields.
I'll second that.
Got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pam, you good on this one?
You're
Yeah.
on.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
good.
Just wanna make sure.
He beat me to the second.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You liked it too.
Dog park.
Exactly. Site plan for Point Grand, Phase 1.
This is a quasi judicial matter. If there's anyone that may wish to speak on this, if they could please raise their right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give this evening is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do. Thank you.
I think we got it. Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, Eric Rosh here with Inspire Placemaking in my capacity as a contract planner to the city. This is item number 10 on your agenda, which is the Point Grand Phase 1 site plan. A project that is likely familiar to many of you. You've seen it in different shapes and forms over the last few months. I'll speak through the location, background, request, and then, of course, I'll wrap up with a summary of the recommendations. So this one's south of Sullivan Road, east of US Highway 27. It's about 20 acres in size. You can see it outlined in red on the map. It's within what's known as the Sullivan Road mixed-use plat. That was a 3-lot plat that was recently approved by council. It sets up these 3 lots that you see on the screen. There's a commercial lot north of Sullivan. There's a proposed townhome project in the center lot, and then there's this lot, which is on the south. It's Zone B1, which is generally a commercial district, but this was processed under the Live Local Act. And as you recall, that's a kind of state preemption on local comprehensive plan and zoning regulations that allow for affordable multifamily projects to move forward regardless of the underlying future land use and zoning. So they did receive that designation from the city back in March of 2024. They also had a variance granted for parking proximity adjacent to the entrances to their structures. So tonight, we're discussing a site plan. They're proposing 300 multifamily dwelling units on just under 20 acres. It's a 3-story product. They're required to do at least 40% of the units as certified affordable units. So that means up to 120% of the area median income. And that's all defined by state statute under the Live Local Act. You can see the layout on the screen. There's a shared access point, which will also serve the proposed townhome project to the north, and then some shared stormwater on the north as well. As I mentioned, they were proposing 3-story height, maximum 35 feet. We work with the applicant to reduce it to the 35 feet, consistent with the city's maximum height requirements. So in summary, there are no outstanding reviewer comments at this time. They've addressed all of the staff comments. Staff and P&Z both recommend approval, subject to the 2 conditions. The first is that the conditions of the Live Local agreement and the approved variance be adhered to. So those were both previously approved by the city. And then the second, no construction of buildings to be started until the stabilized roads and fire hydrants meeting fire chief requirements are installed and working properly, and the stormwater pond is completed. So with that, that concludes my presentation. I believe the applicant team's here as well. Welcome any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Looking at this project, why is the requirement for the stormwater pond to be completed first?
Because the stormwater pond serves as stormwater collection for the whole site, and there is no stormwater collection for all this impervious surface they're putting on in this one site here without that stormwater pond being complete.
But when you say complete, that means it's done, finished out, grass and all that, right?
Yes, it needs to be inspected and approved by the city.
Okay, so if we're making them do a stormwater pond first, then why do we build a library and we don't do the stormwater pond first on the library? That was a question, not a statement.
I
Well,
know the answer to that.
for one thing, we were
And
using the
they're
building.
fine, we're fine, Joyce.
Okay.
We'll just move on. Thank you, Joyce. Anybody in the audience have any comments, questions? Bring it back to council for a motion. Oh, questions, sorry, my bad, Joe. I'm sorry, Joe, so much. Joe, you have any questions?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Eric?
I saw
I gotta say, the traffic study was the most comprehensive traffic study I've ever seen in a development proposal. However, I don't understand how these 3 lots are gonna put traffic all the way to the turnpike. There's no access from this particular lot onto Sullivan Road.
That's correct.
There's an access, but it's limited use for emergency. So we understand that. People are gonna go onto 27. They're gonna go to the turnpike. And from the traffic study, it doesn't say all these people are gonna leave in the morning and go to Sullivan Road, down Scrubdray Road, up Citrus Grove Road to the Turnpike. But the only alternative is they go on to 27, they cut across right now 2 lanes of traffic, but in the near future, or in the future, the 27 is going to be widened. They've got to get across 27 to the deceleration lane that goes to the future traffic light and make a U-turn. And how many apartment units are in this complex?
300.
300.
300. 300 homes, and let's say that in the morning, 300 cars are going to leave and go someplace. All right, some will go to Leesburg. I can assume that. Some will go to Leesburg. And some will go south. Not to the Turnpike, but maybe to Claremont or to a local office someplace else. But all I can see is I visualize probably 75% of this 300 automobiles trying to make a U-turn at that traffic light. And I didn't get from the traffic, and again, it was the best overall traffic study I've seen in a long time, probably ever. I don't see how we're going to manage all those cars making a U-turn at the traffic light, and we haven't got to the fact that they want a market and a gas station on the other side of 27. Can you tell me how that's going to work?
Yeah, and I appreciate the comment, Councilman Saunders. Our traffic engineer is a sub-consultant to our firm, and he's unfortunately not here tonight. So I'm not the subject matter expert to really speak through that. I believe we do have the applicants down here who might be able to speak a little to it and hopefully give you some answers to your questions.
Okay.
Good evening. For the record, McGregor Love, 215 North Eola Drive, Orlando, Florida. From Lowndes, I'm the land use attorney, so this is a very technical matter, so I'm almost immediately going to call up one member of my team. We have Kyle Webb, who is our engineer, and I haven't spoken to Kyle about this issue yet, Councilman Saunders, so I don't know what information he's going to be able to provide. But if anyone on our team has an answer for you regarding that, it'll be Mr. Webb, so I'll call him up now.
Good evening. Again, my name is Kyle Webb. I represent Hill Point as the engineer of record. Kind of in full disclosure as well, I am the civil engineer of record for the site plan. We did hire Kittleson and Associates, who is our traffic consultant, and they did do a very thorough study, as you referenced. Just, I guess, the background, to the best that I can explain to you tonight without them here, would be that, you know, the trips generated by this development have been looked at. The directions that everybody's coming and going from have been assessed based off of kind of traffic counts, you know, AM, PM, peak hours. Typically with the AM peak hour, that kind of determines the bulk of where traffic is going for a normal work pattern or school pattern or however that may be. And so kind of that trip generation set the tone for this particular model. And we met with FDOT, who's got ownership of 27, had all of our pre-application meetings with them. You know, we vetted the site plan, the access condition through with the district from that standpoint. You know, they granted us, you know, the left end for the southbound traffic, but to your point, the northbound traffic will all have to go either to Leesburg or make a U-turn at the median cut at Sullivan and go southbound. And so, you know, part of that analysis was extending the existing left turn lane to accommodate that additional queue for the U-turn movement. And
That's pretty
and
long.
furthermore, the district, while the study recommended extending it some additional length for the queue, the district went further and asked that we align the taper for the left turn lane kind of with our outbound traffic, so there was a smooth transition from when somebody was leaving, they were able to enter directly into the turn lane, so they weren't trying to enter the travel lane to the north and then have to merge over in. So working with the district created a safer condition, for that U-turn traffic to leave the site and then get going southbound into the city.
And I know you're the engineer on this, and it's not a hinting of like, I'll approve it or not approve it. What I'm trying to understand here is, what happens to the person coming out? We have it in other places. I think you have it up in your neighborhood where the fake right turn left. So how is that what is that intersection gonna look like for the person who doesn't want to do the U-turn? They're just gonna cut straight across into you understand my question? You see exactly what my question is, right?
Yeah, you're worried about the kind of the illegal southbound movement that would happen.
Yeah, is there something is it built in such a way that there's a curb that doesn't allow them to do that, or is it just a?
Well, there is an open median. That median's got storm inlets and a ditch line.
Okay.
Within
I
it,
just
and then
foresee
the way
that.
that the southbound left turn into the site, is aligned with the south entry lane. So when you're leaving, you're misaligned with that piece, and it's narrow and it's got kind of a an obtuse angle. So I mean, to make that turn, I mean, there's really no way that you can do that without just running straight through the median.
I'll do it. Okay.
Not that anybody
it's a challenge.
can do, but it's certainly very restricted the way that it is.
Definitely hold
So,
my beer a moment.
but,
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, any questions?
No. Thank you.
All your questions get answered, Joe?
Well, they were answered. I just don't see how that's going to all work, frankly.
Okay. With that said, anybody in the audience? Bring it back to council for a motion, please. I think this is one of the ones that we're being voluntold.
Need a motion to approve item 10, site plan, Grant Phase 1.
Because you have to, not because you want to. Okay. Can I get a second?
Scott, in that motion, do we need to put in there what Eric had in there, what the staff and
Yeah.
county comments are addressed? Do we need to
Good
put that in?
clarification. I assume, Eric, that would
Clarification.
include the staff recommended.
Yes, please
conditions.
include staff recommended conditions on that as well, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that a second?
That's a second.
Okay, I got a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion carries. Okay, going on to 14. Am I missing something? Or we're on 14 now?
No, 11.
Sorry. Renovation request purchase request for City Hall renovations. This is pretty much to seal coat.
So this, this request is, and we'd ask that it be subject to city manager and attorney review. The intent of this is to do the pre-work before we go out for bid for an architect firm. So we're having different architects sort of draft some of that, do some of the pre-work that has to be done before it goes out to bid, and help with the bid package and everything. So that we can, for a remodel of City Hall.
Strollo, aren't they the ones that did the fire department?
He did, but he also has done, without charge, he's done I know. He will not be designing, the intent is not for him to design it, but to do the work to get it out for bid and for a architect firm to come in and
Joe,
do an accurate bid.
Joe, what do you have thoughts on Strollo doing anything?
Well, if you take the fire department, fire station as a whole, it's lacks a lot of confidence. But as an interior, I think they would probably do a fairly good job.
Okay. That's, I just need to know, I know you work.
Very limited compared to that fire station. That fire station was very cold.
I'm just looking for a comfort. I know you were very engaged in it, and if you feel comfortable, I feel comfortable. So anybody in the
In
audience?
fact, I think they did a pretty good job on the inside of the fire station.
Okay. Except the doors. But technically, the doors are on the outside, so they don't count.
Right.
It's true.
Okay. Anybody from the audience want to speak on this? Bring it back to council for a motion or discussion? Okay.
As far as this, if you look at this room, this building was a church. And this room is huge for a city council. And it's always, from day one, I know we got a good deal on the building and all that stuff. And from day one, this room has not been a good council chamber, in my opinion.
Yeah, but throws a hell of a party, though, doesn't it?
The sound doesn't work well in here, and I don't know of any way to correct it. We've tried. You see these panels on the walls. That was an attempt to try to correct it. And my opinion was always that if we cut this council chamber down to 25%, it would be a normal-sized city council chamber. That's my opinion. If you look at the one in Claremont, when they built that, I thought they did a really good job on that. Maybe it's not always big enough, and maybe after a while it's too big. I don't know. But if we had a council chamber which held 100 people, 50 people, or some reasonable number, and this is the Diaz. If the Diaz wasn't looking down on everybody, I never liked that. And the lighting is church lighting. I think it was a long time coming that we do something about this room. And again, look at all the space we're going to gain for other things. We could build offices in here. We could build convention centers in here. I don't know. But I think it's going to be appropriate that we come up with a good system. And if you've ever been to the council chambers in Claremont, which I think is appropriately done, I think you'd agree to some level that it would be a good thing to go towards. And if they copied that for us, I would be very satisfied.
Yeah, and I agree, but to the point of we've had a couple of large functions in here since we finally got rid of the pews. I don't know why it took so long to get rid of the pews, but since they got rid of the pews and it's gray and it looks nice, I think the functions that you held on Saturday, Pam, was really nice.
And I didn't have enough room, actually.
Yeah. So I think the chamber piece is good. I mean, if you were to flip this off as a community room, and to Joe's point, the days, get rid of it and move the chamber to like the finance and kind of move things around. But I think these people are interior designers. Let them look what they can do. It won't happen in my term, so that's saying it doesn't need to get done.
It's not intent to rush this through, and it's the intent to do it in phases.
Yeah.
But we've sort of beginning to outgrow the building, and so we need to create more office space. Some of this is the pre-design work would be including, where the stage is, adding a second storage. They got to check the slab, make sure it can hold the weight.
Do we even go down that route, or we just build a building next door to us?
I think it'd be cheaper to do some modifications.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I mean, if you were to do that and you just did, the city manager and council chambers over there and just had that as a small building specifically for that and left this alone. But that's for future councils to decide. But I think, to your point, they do interior design. Let them see what they can come up with. Okay.
I mean, I agree with what Joe has always, we've always, I've always said that I'm not a big fan of being all the way up here looking down. I do recall that we did speak about breaking this down so we can all be eye level. I don't know what transpired with that, but I was told that it couldn't get done for whatever reason. But on the other hand, this room was utilized to its ability on Saturday, and it does get used for camp. So this room has come in handy for many different events that happen in the city, and the kids love watching movies in here, so.
And the intent today, one of the phases would be to make the gym more of a multi-purpose space than what it is today, so that we could have nice functions there, but as well as use it for play.
Yeah. Okay. So, need a purchase request for architectural engineering for Strollo. Can I get a motion? Anybody from the audience want to talk about this?
And Mark, just for clarification, it's going to be in 2 phases, and the first phase is a fixed fee of $80,000.
Is they fixed what?
$80,000.
Yeah, the first phase is just to get a big package ready, do some pre-design work, and get some numbers and do some testing, and know exactly what we can and cannot do.
Yeah, these are for pre-bid services, not the actual architectural design.
But it's fixed fee.
Okay. With that said, bring it back to council. Can I get a motion for approval?
I'll make- moved.
Can I get, before we approve it, these renovations, these don't include simple cosmetic, like redoing wallpaper back there, little cosmetic, painting little things. This is major structural stuff. Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Amending code for exceptions of irrigation requirements. Sounds like Scott to me.
Getting there.
You want to borrow my copy here, Scott?
I got it. Ordinance 2025-15 on first reading, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, amending Article 5, Division 2 of the Land Development Code of the City of Minneola to revise irrigation requirements, providing for additions, providing for inclusion in the Code of Ordinances, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. First reading.
So our CUP is up for renewal, and one of the things that St. John's is requiring us is to reduce our consumption of potable groundwater. Almost half of our groundwater consumption is for irrigation purposes. And so this would help reduce some of the irrigation usage by reducing the amount of watering that is done on initially on new lawns. This is not to prevent somebody from hooking their water hose up and hand watering their yard. As you know, this is just to reduce the amount of time that they water constantly to help lower our irrigation use water of our potable water.
Thank you. Anybody in the audience want to speak on this? If not, this is first reading. It'll be coming back to us, Scott.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. Purchase request for Heroes Memorial Park Monument.
Yeah, we have somebody in the
sorry.
audience, so
So
Cheryl, do you have public comment on this?
She was a little slow, sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't jump up fast enough. Cheryl Pavlak at 1808 Carey Street. The only change I saw was that on new landscaping, now instead of 30 days, it would only be 14 days. And I don't know, I've gotten into gardening and planting new trees and vegetables and, grass and such. And if you have new grass, if you're not watering for 30 days, even if you plant in October, it's not gonna take. So I think we should reconsider different ways of reducing the potable water. Just penalizing new landscaping that's been approved by HOA and is Florida friendly, et cetera, to only 14 days. I'm not sure that's the right answer. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I fully agree, and I need your help for my yard, please.
Okay, can I move on? Go ahead.
I have True Green for a lawn service, and they're cheap, and they're not the best, but they're cheap. And I have to compensate for a lot of things they do, but
Seriously?
they tell me, when they put down new grass, you should water it for 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. I think what we're saying here is you can water it for 14 days, an hour a zone, because that's generally where St. John says you have to water grass.
Yeah, it's a lot for a zone, but yeah, I agree.
But most often, of course, if it's raining, you don't have to water at all. It saves a lot of money. But most often, you have different kinds of sprinklers, and the ones that rotate, they generally have to run for almost an hour before you saturate the grass.
The rotors.
The ones that are fixed, they only have to run probably 15, 20 minutes to saturate the grass. And that's the main reason why the code says, and that's since my house was built, the code says you can't mix rotators with fixed heads because they require different times, okay? So I visualize people putting down grass and watering it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night for probably 15 to 20 days, or else they'll lose that grass. However, in the middle of the summer, if you put down grass, if you don't water it a little bit longer than that, the sun will burn it right up. So it's hard to say, but my question is, are we going to police this? Are we going to go in and start saying, hey, we watched you water for 16 days, here's a ticket? I don't know. Do we have people that can watch new grass for a month to make sure that they don't water it for a whole month?
We will have a full-time water conservation officer in the next year.
Okay,
I know
so
that part of
we'll
that
be
job will
busy
go on from there.
with all the new houses we're going to have, and there's a lot coming. He's going to be very busy going from house to house in a development where they laid down 15 yards in one day. So I don't think we can totally enforce this as a law, but it's good to say it, cut down on the use of water. I think we can all feel good about conserving water. But St. Augustine grass, which is what people still put in the front of their house because Bahia grass is not all that good. St. Augustine grass is very water thirsty, especially when it's new. Amen.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Joe, that's what I was going to say with the two different types of grass that we're putting in now. Bahia is a drought-resistant grass. It's brown one day, rains 10 minutes, it's green the next. But St. Augustine's a more deep-root grass, so you need to get that penetration in. So I don't agree with this at all.
You don't agree with this?
I don't agree, yeah. I don't agree with this because you're limiting how much water you're going to be putting as a blanket statement as opposed to by species of grass that you're putting in. So it's not a good way to conserve water.
And it goes back to Mark's always said, he has a valid point, is everything we put here goes back down into the aquifer compared to if you're in the Miami where it goes into the ocean. The water's coming right back down, so it's kind of.
There's the Biscayne aquifers down there. It is.
Okay.
So you know.
It doesn't really count, though.
You're saying that all the water you put on your lawn goes into the aquifer?
It seeps back down into the ground.
Eventually.
Yeah, well, that sun sure evaporates water fast
Yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah, it does. So, okay.
And that goes up into the sky.
And it comes back down and rain at 3 o'clock.
It's a great third
But,
grade.
you still have the don't water between 10 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That doesn't take that away.
Yeah. They don't understand that in my neighborhood either.
But, I've seen my neighbors water at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and
Yeah. I see my
12
neighbor.
o'clock in the afternoon.
I see my neighbors water in the rain, so.
Well, the Orlando Health Hospital, they water all day long, rain, shine, or whatever. They don't seem to follow any particular rule.
Double the efficiency, double the power.
Well, I think this is one of those, here's a law, it's a good thing, we'll pray over it, and guess what?
Okay.
First readings.
I don't have new grass, so it's not an issue for me.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Okay. Okay, are we good? Can we go to purchase request for Heroes Memorial Park?
Item
So
14.
we have a request for the purchase of granite, the purchase and installation for the Heroes Memorial Park. It includes black granite tablets and bases, emblems for military branches and first responders. It includes the sandblasting of the words dedicated to the men and women who served as first responders. And it includes the text sandblasted dedicated to the men and women who served in the armed forces. And includes delivery and installation. We had 3 quotes. The staff recommends the quote for $24,150.
I'm going to defer to Pam on this because, Pam, I know this is near and dear to you, so I trust you 100% on whatever you want to do.
Another Pam project.
So, thank you. I will say it's
Are you
a
happy
thought.
with it?
I am. I'm very happy with it, but I have to disagree with the least expensive. And here is the reason why. First off, this was an idea that I've had for a while, but I'm going to thank Christine for all her hard work on this. She has done all the legwork on it, and her feedback regarding these quotes, I'm going to share with everyone because it's something that we discussed in office, and I wanted to make sure that you all heard it because it is very informative. Yes, the $24,000 is the least expensive, but from her experience, she did mention all of them were great. All the vendors were great vendors, but the Cicadia, they are a family-owned business. They have provided more information. They were the most helpful, and they provided the most feedback. Speaking about feedback, she did also receive some feedback from first responders, and that feedback she'll have further renderings once we decide on the vendor. So, again, the one that did all this work here is Christine, and I want to thank her again. Thank you. So with that said, that's my recommendation, is to go with Cicadia.
I agree 100%.
Amen.
I'm fine with whatever you say, Pam. Anybody in the audience have any comments?
Thank you.
So once you do the monuments, will this wrap up the project, or is there anything else, or you have the dock piece that's going to come in later?
The dock piece will come, the pier
The pier.
will be coming in later.
But this will finish the
Pretty much.
circle in that area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we also have to, from what I saw in the rendering, was put another flag post up. Am I correct? A flagpole? Because it looked like on the rendering that it was a,
No, that was their rendering.
that was just their, okay.
Ours will stay
That
in the
was
center.
another thing I needed to ask you, and sorry, I forgot to ask that, because I know you hate being on the spot,
We
so.
triple check spelling.
Yes.
So, okay. And thank you, Christine, because sometimes I think you're kind of like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain.
She really,
You come in your room, pull it back, and you're like got everything going.
that's exactly it. Thank you. That, yeah, she is Oz. Yes.
So, anybody in the audience have any comments on this? If not, we've got the motion.
I have a motion to approve the Cicadia.
And you got a second?
I'll
And
second
we
it.
got- And we had a second.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you again, Christine.
Final public comment. Anybody in the audience want to speak on anything that we didn't cover? Okay, with that said, bring it back. Oh, Andy, oh, sorry. It's my peripheral vision.
Andy Alexander, 872 Meadow Park Drive. I just want to thank you very much for your vote moving forward.
Sorry, go ahead.
With the parks for Trailhead, I'm really excited. I think everybody in the room is too. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
With that said, anybody else? Mark?
I don't have anything else that we hadn't already talked about.
Anything for City Manager?
I can't say thank you enough, so I'll just continue saying it until I'm blue in the face. So, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So, thank you.
That's it for me.
No, thank you, Mark.
I'm good. Thank you.
Mark, I publicly want to thank you for taking my crap that I give you at times. You've been around, we've been together, like I said yesterday, we've been together a long time, and we could argue every day for the next 5 years, and you still have so much goodwill built in my life that you'll never use it all up. So you mean the world to me and everything you do for this city. So
You're gonna
thank
make
you.
me cry.
Don't say that to us.
God damn.
So, okay.
Can we move on?
Ditto for Scott.
He's a
Ditto,
lawyer. It's all
Scott,
right.
did you just say?
Scott, Scott, anything?
I'll take the ditto. Two things. I did look up while everybody was talking the noise ordinance. We have different.
Because you just wanted to touch the book.
He just wanted to
I
read
did.
that book.
See, you got to use the book. So
Yeah.
Mr. Saunders appreciates using the book. So that's right. Actually, we have differing hours for different things, but the general parameters are 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. That's
Okay.
typically
Yeah,
So
that's,
there are different hours for certain things, but like trash pickup, construction. But
Construction we know all too well.
yeah,
That's,
unfortunately, yeah.
and that's the same time that both Winter Garden and Claremont have
Yeah,
their
that
open
seems,
hours.
that's pretty standard, as
Yeah.
you said, yeah.
Correct.
The second thing is just as a point of information, the League of Cities is championing litigation to challenge the new Senate Bill 180. That was a, largely, it was billed as an emergency preparedness bill dealing with hurricanes and things like that afterwards. But they threw in, just before final passage, some language that added a paragraph that prohibited any cities from adopting any more restrictive or burdensome changes to your land development regulations within a year of any storm. But the way it was worded, it literally covers the entire state of Florida, except for some little sliver in the panhandle, for going retroactive to 2024 forward. So it's an extremely burdensome bill that personally I think that was not the intention of our legislatures. I like to think that. It was just some language that was overly broad. But the league is going to challenge that. The reason I'm bringing it up is they are
Asking for
basically
money?
passing the hat. They're asking cities to join the fight, and I think they want 10 grand per cities. We've been through this before.
Whoa.
So
So Orlando pays 10 grand, we pay 10 grand?
yeah, I think they
How about,
they had the same. I know.
how
the
about
same
Go
thing
Team
last-
Go?
Yeah, we are. We're giving them. So at this point, we're providing our support, but I assume there's no
No.
burning desire to send money at this aspect.
We could
Yeah.
give them $50.
50 bucks.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just take that as a not now. And
Yeah.
if
Thank you,
if they're
Clayton.
really hurting, I'll come back and ask again. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's it.
Anything for Scott?
No, thank you, Scott.
No, thank you, Scott.
I'm good, thank you.
Anything for Scott? Scott and I don't expect him to have the conversation tonight, but we did have a discussion to better understand transitioning if someone was to vacate their seat prior to an election, what requires a special election, what requires it to just be appointed, how does it work in with the, if one of y'all left it kind of just happens, your seat will go vacant. If I was to leave, then you would have the vice mayor would take my seat, but the question is, does that mean that they would be leaving? For right now, if I was to leave, Pam would take over my seat. Does that mean that she moves to seat 3 or she's seat 3? But trying to understand a little bit. So hopefully in one of these slow nights, he can talk that, but he just better
Slow
understand.
night.
Well, it's just,
Well, that's in the city charter.
it's interpretation on some of it. He's kind of like, everybody interprets it differently.
We like to hear it better from
Yeah.
Scott.
And there's also
He says it a little bit more clearer.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's some interpretation of the, you have to resign to run rule for other seats. There's some interpretations on how that works out, so just trying to get an official thing. I have gotten, from attorneys, you don't have to resign if I'm, for those who know, I'm qualified for school board. You don't have to resign because it's.
No overlap.
Yeah, there's no overlap because if I was to win, that's where it's in the 3rd week of November. So you don't have to resign, but then some say you do have to resign. So just trying to get a final comment on what that is. Question?
Well, you're waiting for the lawyer to give you the answer.
Oh, no, I'm asking him publicly to let you know that I'm asking it, and he will, nothing's going to happen in the next 6 months, so over time, we just need to make sure how this matures in, and now that we have districts and all that stuff, how does all this play around if people leave?
Well, we have less than 6 months to November, so do we assume that no one's going to be leaving for another office?
Nope.
Before
Nope.
November?
It's a safe assumption.
So we can do this.
In the winter, in the dormant, when we're not watering our grass, and the grass is dormant.
Next spring.
Yeah. Just trying to
Well,
understand.
you're not making an announcement, so.
No, I'm not. I have not decided, I need an opinion before I can make a decision of what my next move is. But I just need it to be clarified out in public, so when it happens, I don't get well, you have to do this and do that. I'm trying to understand the rules. And I defer to Scott. So. Okay. With that said, y'all are all good?
We're all
Can we
good.
do- Okay. Can I get a motion for adjournment, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Can I get a first and a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Got a good article I want to share with you guys.
Yeah. So I
Have you
read,
seen it?
yeah, I read that
Oh,
one.
yeah, I read
Very
it.
good. Yeah, have you seen that, Scott? It's good.
Oh.